Welcome everybody to Forza Horizon 4, and today we're taking a look at the 2019 Lamborghini Urus. Now this car started production in February 2018 and is Lamborghini's first attempt at a high volume SUV, though Lamborghini have had previous experience with making SUVs as they made the LM002 in the 80s, but that only had a production volume of 328, whereas this is going to have 1,000 made in its first year alone, with another 3,500 being made in 2019. And yeah, the engine is from Audi, and the whole car really is a hodgepodge of other elements from other cars, as the platform itself is based on the Bentley Bentayga, Porsche Cayenne and Audi Q7, but it is at least lighter than the likes of the Bentayga, as it uses carbon fibre reinforced polymer to a really rather extensive degree, all to help keep the weight down. And this also has the largest set of carbon ceramic brakes, because even though they have tried to keep the weight down, it still does weigh 4,850 pounds, and when you've got the amount of horsepower and torque that this car does, you need the best brakes possible to obviously slow down a vehicle at weighing nearly 5,000 pounds. Yeah, and it also has rear wheel steering and air suspension, which can give it 9.8 inches of ground clearance, so it does have some off-road capabilities, but the off-road elements to this car are unfortunately optional extras. They're not included in the base price of the vehicle, which when you consider it's $200,000 to buy even as a base version, you would have expected some of the off-road elements to be included in its standard form, but unfortunately it's not. You've got to pay extra for that, as well as extra for the off-road modes like snow or sand or dirt. So yeah, quite a pricey vehicle, even if it is going to be Lamborghini's most popular vehicle ever, even more so than the likes of the Huracan and Gallardo. But yeah, as it is an SUV with 4 doors, it is really rather practical, easily the most practical Lamborghini ever. As you can see, it's got plenty of room in the back and a huge amount of room in the boot, easily plenty of room in there. And yeah, because it's obviously going to be a highly popular vehicle with plenty of units sold, it can't have something like a V12 or a V10. Instead, it's got a 4-litre twin-turbocharged V8 engine, producing 641 horsepower and 626 pounds-feet of torque. So yeah, despite being one of Lamborghini's smaller engines, it's still one of their most powerful. So yeah, no problem whatsoever in terms of horsepower or torque, and because it is obviously all-wheel drive like other Lamborghinis have been for the past several years or so, it's quick off the line, and yeah, got really rather quick acceleration, and it's really helped by the fact it doesn't weigh as much as the other cars that I have kind of mentioned. So yeah, certainly a lot lighter than the Bentley Bentayga by 490 pounds, and it's a lot less in weight in terms of other luxury SUVs like the Rolls-Royce Cullinan, and yeah, you know, that just makes it more of a sporty vehicle, which you would expect from Lamborghini, because obviously they are well renowned for their supercars, hypercars, and they're really rather good handling cars as well. But to see how good in terms of handling this car is, we're going to take it out onto the open road and see what it can do. So yeah, even though this car has its engine nicked from Audi, which has also been used in several other vehicles as well, like the Porsche Cayenne, it's a lot different because it produces a lot more power. No Cayenne has produced this amount of power, not even close really. I think the most is about 550. So yeah, this has a lot more power than those kind of vehicles, and it's pretty much as light. I don't think it's quite as light as a Cayenne, but certainly a lot lighter, like I said, than the Bentley Bentayga, which also has a lot less horsepower than this. It's got 42 less horsepower, though it does have about 40 extra pounds-feet of torque. So yeah, but that extra torque cannot make up for the near 500 pounds extra that it weighs. This is a lot better handling than the Bentayga, and I think it looks a lot better as well, even though I do have a couple of issues with how this car looks. But on the whole, they've done a lot better job than Bentley or Porsche, because obviously they've also tried to make their SUV look like they're more sporty vehicles, and they've made a pig's dinner of it, quite frankly, because yeah, they don't look anywhere near as good as their sporty vehicles, whereas this at least looks as good as a Huracan, even if it doesn't look as good as like the Sesto Elemento or the Murcielago. But you know, it's still a pretty good sporting vehicle, and yeah, really rather respect what they've done engineering wise with this car, because it can do 0 to 60 in 3.384 seconds, 0 to 108.6 seconds, and go to a top speed of 197 miles an hour. Now that's quicker than some supercars even that aren't even Lamborghinis, quite frankly. So yeah, mightily impressive in terms of acceleration and top speed, and it handles really rather well as well. Those ceramic brakes really do make a difference, and yeah, you really would need them for a car that accelerates as quickly as this, because you know, if you're going to be accelerating in that kind of time, you really need to be stopping just as quickly as well. And yeah, when you've got the amount of weight that this car weighs as well, you've got a lot of momentum going, so you really do need to stop as good as possible, and those ceramic brakes really do help in that, as well as obviously the tyres and suspension as well, aid in it as well. And yeah, overall I do respect this car for what it can do engineering wise and what it can do in terms of, you know, acceleration, top speed and handling. And in some ways I do like it. I do really find this car rather fun to drive in the off-road routes on this game, but I'm afraid to say I don't love it. It's just not special enough or, you know, unique enough to really have any love for me, to be honest. And that's despite the fact that I actually quite like how this the engine sounds in this car, but it's just not as special as a Lamborghini should be. And I know it's going to be, you know, still quite rare compared to, you know, like Porsches and stuff, but especially since it costs $200,000 even for the base car. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a lot more common than you know, your Aventadors or your Murcielagos and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just not going to feel as special as a Lamborghini should do, which, you know, isn't obviously the whole point of a Lamborghini. But at the end of the day, no one should be buying a Lamborghini because it's practical or because it's usable every day or anything like that. It should be for special occasions. It should be, you know, be able to wow people because it's outlandish and stuff like that. And even though it does look good in parts, it doesn't look as, you know, mad as other Lamborghinis have done. And yeah, in some regards it is quite restrained and really rather quite plain as well. And yeah, even though it does have presence purely because of how big it is, it just doesn't have the kind of presence that you've seen from Lamborghinis of past, to be honest. And yeah, quite frankly, to me, it feels like they've watered down the brand quite a lot just so they can, you know, make this. And yeah, I know crossovers and SUVs are the car of choice for a lot of people these days, but personally I would have respected Lamborghini if they'd have either just made another supercar or a hypercar or even done a saloon car. I would have much preferred a saloon car, to be honest, because yeah, that would be a lot less in weight, it would handle a lot better because it would be a lower ride height, and obviously it wouldn't necessarily need all-wheel drive, so it would weigh a lot less as well in all that regards. So yeah, this just seems a bit of an obvious direction for Lamborghini to go, really, and yeah, it just doesn't feel like a logical step, to be honest. Fortunately, it does mean now that we've got very few manufacturers now that aren't doing SUVs and who actually make supercars. I think it's only really Koenigsegg, Ferrari and Pagani that are the last outliers in the supercar, hypercar manufacturers. But Ferrari might well go that way. I doubt Pagani and Koenigsegg will, but yeah, they're very small, and obviously Ferrari isn't, but Koenigsegg and Pagani are very small compared to that. It's a Lamborghini, so I would very much doubt they would ever make such a thing, but it wouldn't surprise me considering everyone else has done it now, pretty much. It's only, oh yeah, Aston Martin haven't done one yet. They've done a saloon car obviously, but they haven't gone the SUV route yet. But yeah, there's very few manufacturers now that haven't, and yeah, it's a big shame really, because, you know, Lamborghini should be making hypercars and supercars. They don't need to be making SUVs. They make more than enough money out of their rarer, more expensive vehicles, so I just don't see the point in this outside of, you know, pleasing shareholders and making more money. But yeah, in engineering terms it is a good car, but it's just nothing I could ever really love, to be honest. But I hope other people do, but I just can't. Nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.